Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I thought today it would be a perfect day to do a getting ready with me. What am I getting ready for? Obviously nothing because everything's closed. Shocker. I'm going to not talk too much about, the coronavirus stuff because that's all anybody's talking about right now. But it is getting ready with me, so I am going to just sort of update you guys on like my life, and so I'll be getting into it a little bit just in the specific ways that it's affecting my life. But I'm not going to get into it any further than that. I'm just going to try and keep this as a typical getting ready with me, since I haven't done one of these in a while. So I have my coffee as per usual. And today I'm going to do a look that it's not going to be too like experimental because I've done this one before, although I am trying a few, basically I'm going to be using my favorite. I'm very surprised that this became my favorite Cliona shadow because I did order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 Cliona Cosmetics shadows. And if you are familiar with the brand, you know these are not cheap, particularly the jeweled multichromes. And I really thought one of the jeweled multichromes would become my favorite. And to be fair, I haven't tried every single one yet. But right now, I am absolutely loving this shade right here called Wormwood. And as you can see, it might look a little scary in the pan because it looks like a bright blue. And does have turquoise in it, but it's got this really unique, like burgundy undertone. Like it's like a duochrome. So it looks burgundy with some blue hints to it when you move in the light kind of thing. So I thought the burgundy would look great with this sweater I'm wearing today. And yeah, I'm really loving that shade, and I'm really shocked because you guys know me, I'm not really big into blue eyeshadow at all, but that's the thing. And you'll see when I put it on, it's not like too blue, even though it looks insanely like vibrant blue in the pan. It doesn't really look that way when you put it on. It does have some blue to it, but it's not like, holy crap, like blue eyeshadow, like in your face kind of thing. So I have used that shade before, so I'm kind of going back to one of my favorite looks that I like to do, except the only difference is I'm going to be doing the sort of like the base color with this Milani Most Love Mattes palette, which is a newer palette to my collection. I just think the burgundy shades in here, like the darker ones, will be great as like a good deepening shade before I go in with like this over top. So yeah, it's basically a look I've done before, just with using a little bit of a different like base color, but more or less the same. So we'll just get right into it. I've already prepped my skin. So I'll talk about that in a minute too, because my skin is real bad right now, and it's been bad for a little while. Couple reasons why I have some suspicions as to why that might be. But if you're noticing that I have a lot of breakouts, particularly on my neck, that's kind of why I'm like going with this turtleneck today. But like, it's actually starting to clear up. But oh man, last week was terrible for my skin on my neck, and now it's still a little bit here on my jawline and up on kind of like around my mouth kind of area, and a little bit on my center of my forehead here. So I'm hoping that clears up soon, but I've already done my whole face makeup and done the best I could to kind of correct that as much as I can. So I'm just gonna get right into the eye look as I talk to you guys today. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I'm just gonna use these two palettes, this palette and then that one single probably for this whole look. So we'll just get right into it. But yeah, the first thing I want to, I guess, address is, I'm sure you guys have noticed that my uploads haven't been super consistent lately. I have always promised to give a video every single day, and I know like this past week, I've kind of dropped the ball on that a little bit. I'm still trying my best to get a video up as many days as I possibly can, but I just wasn't able to get one up every single day this particular week. Just obviously because of things that are going on, which I will get into. But essentially, as I've mentioned in previous videos, my work year was kind of supposed to start like this month, as in March, I had 3 weddings for March booked, and of course, with all of the craziness that's been going on, there were some issues with that. So, um, unfortunately, well, firstly, the first wedding I had, just that one was fine. That one was a go. So I was busy kind of doing that, obviously, doing that work. But then after that, I had the 2 other weddings later in the month that I was supposed to be shooting. Both had made the difficult decision to postpone their weddings until August. They both chose a new date in August. So what that really means for me is that, I mean, it's a good thing in a sense because one of them was supposed to be in downtown Toronto, which is, in terms of the way this virus is hitting Canada, I mean, it's no surprise that we have the most number of cases in our most populated areas. I mean, that just kind of goes without saying. So I'm in Ontario, and the biggest city in Ontario is, of course, Toronto. And so that's where the vast majority of coronavirus cases have been reported. So I was kind of glad to hear that the wedding was going to be postponed. At the same time, it leaves me with not a whole lot to do in the meantime, which is good for the channel in a sense because I will have lots of time to film videos. However, it could be bad for the channel in the future because now I just added 2 more weddings to my to-do list for August, which was already a busy month for me. Now it's going to be a very, very busy month for me. So it might mean I really have to reduce the number of uploads I do in August, but I'm kind of gonna wait and cross that bridge when we come to it. But for now, it means for the next couple of months, like, I really don't have a lot going on, which can be very depressing, as I'm sure a lot of you are finding this whole quarantine process to be very kind of depressing and lonely when you don't have a whole lot going on. Like, I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends and things are able to work from home during this time, which is nice because then at least you've got something going on. But for myself, unfortunately, it would have been nice to have at least had those weddings shot so that I could then do the editing from home. But since that's not the case, I don't really have anything going on. And so yeah, it's a bit of a slow time now. However, this past week, like I said, was a bit chaotic because I was getting a bunch of emails from my clients saying, like, what if we have to cancel? What does this mean? Like, how does this affect our contract with you? And blah, 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 blah. And just like dealing with business type things. So that's why I kind of wasn't able to upload every single day last week. On top of that, I got a really bad migraine. And I was quite sick with that. Because, again, if you've watched my previous videos, I did a whole video dedicated to talking about my migraines and my experience with migraines. And if you watch that video, you know that I have found this like amazing medication, like a miracle medication that basically like cuts my migraine off as soon as I feel it coming on, and it's been incredible. I've been on that medication for about a year now, I would say. So I get migraines about at least once a month, sometimes 2 to 3 times a month. So it's not that bad, like it's not good frequency, but like I've heard of people that get them every single week or more. So I'm just feeling blessed that I'm not one of those people. I feel horrible for those people. Like, I sympathize. But anyway, yeah. So prior to being on this medication, I would lose a lot of productivity and a lot of time when I got these migraines because it would put me out of commission for a couple of days. And then I found this medication. And so the last year has been really great because I've been able to medicate and continue to work through my migraines, which has changed my life for the better. Like, you have no idea, unless you suffer from migraines or something similar, like some kind of chronic pain or something that like is completely debilitating, then you probably don't understand how much of a difference it would make, because if you think about it, losing like anywhere from 2 to 6 days every single month over the course of a year, I mean, that's a big chunk of time that I was literally wasting away in bed because I couldn't even function. So it's really helped. But anyways, getting back to the current situation, the reason for my terrible migraine the other day was because it's it's kind of not really a secret with anybody in my life because I'm so excited about it, but my husband and I are trying to conceive. We're trying to get pregnant, and so far haven't been successful or anything. So I'm not secretly pregnant or anything, but because of the fact that we're trying to get pregnant, like, you're not allowed to really take those migraine drugs, if you're pregnant. And because I get my migraines sort of before I know, like before I get my period, before I know for sure that I'm not pregnant, I have to assume that I am, just in case, you know what I mean? So for that reason, it means the other day when I got a migraine and didn't, like, I mean, there was no safe way to determine that I was for sure not pregnant or for sure pregnant. Like, it was too early to tell either way. So I had to just suffer through. So that's another reason why I haven't been able to, like, why I wasn't able to, I had planned to do a video that day, which would have been Sunday, and then I would have had a video available for you guys for yesterday, which was Monday. But unfortunately, this migraine really kicked my ass, and I was in bed for like the entire day and night, and it was horrendous, and so I was not able to do that for you, unfortunately. And considering that this process of trying to get pregnant might take a while, that might happen again. I always try and have some videos pre-filmed, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. So hopefully that won't be the case again in a month from now when I get my next migraine. But like I said, I have lots of time now with a lot of my work being canceled to kind of pre-film stuff. But at the same time, like, just because I have the time to film doesn't mean I necessarily have anything fun to talk about, because due to losing jobs and stuff, like, my income is being affected by this whole virus thing, which means I don't have disposable income to go and purchase new products to review for you guys. I really am I was already kind of in a no buy, but now it's like kicked up a notch, because now I really have to, like, now it's like serious, like, with the current state of affairs in the world. And our province of Ontario just declared a state of emergency this morning. So as of right now, my husband is still going to work. He has not been told not to go into work at the moment. So in terms of our finances in that regard, we're doing okay. But I have lost a couple of jobs. And here's the thing, I didn't actually lose the job, like lose the work, because they were postponed to August, and I happened to be available for the new dates they wanted me for. But so I am still going to get paid, but I'm not going to get paid now. I'm going to get paid in August. So it's kind of like a delay in my revenue stream. So plus this is such a touch and go thing. Like, I don't know if my husband's job will still be running in, you know, in a day or two or whatever. I was kind of expecting it would be closed already, because it is a factory where they shove a bunch of people all together. They have about 2,500 employees that go in and touch all of the same equipment and, like, breathe all of the same air. And yet somehow, like, the government has still said they're fine to go ahead and keep working, which, you know, my husband and I are a little disappointed by that. We don't want to get this, obviously, just like everybody else. And it's unfortunate that he is being told, like, basically, too bad, you're going to work anyways, and sucks to suck, pretty much, is like the attitude that his company is taking with this whole thing. And it's very, very disappointing, because with that many employees at the plant, if they do have an outbreak in the plant that my husband works at, all of those people are going to transmit this thing to their spouses, and there's just going to be a huge outbreak in our community, in our like city or nearby city, which would be unfortunate. Like I said, we are not in Toronto, so right now our city is experiencing a pretty low risk. Like we only have about 4 cases, I think, in our city, our nearest city. But like I said, if they don't shut down the auto manufacturing plants, like the one my husband works at, that number will skyrocket, I guarantee, because it only takes like 1 or 2 people to get sick in that factory for like hundreds to catch it, because they're all sharing equipment and they're all sharing, you know, it's all recirculated air and stuff. Like it's just really not good, and I'm quite unimpressed with how the company is handling it. They obviously don't care about their employees' health. They just care about making a buck. And it's, you know, it's Toyota, so it's like a huge company. It's not like they're hurting for money, so it's a little bit upsetting. And unfortunately, Toyota is one of the few auto manufacturers that is not unionized, so they don't really have any bargaining power. A lot of other, I don't know specific companies, but I know other manufacturing plants in Ontario have had like walkouts and things like that, but because they're unionized, so they can do that. But my husband doesn't have that option, unfortunately. And especially if, you know, we are successful at getting pregnant, that puts me at, you know, somewhat of a compromised immune system situation. And then meanwhile, my husband's forced to go and work in close quarters with thousands of other people. So, you know, that sucks. I'm really hoping for an update saying that they're going to close the plant, but you know what? I was expecting it last week and it didn't come, so I'm not really holding my breath at this point. All right, so I've put on like kind of my base shade. I'm just gonna like deepen up the outer corners, and then I'm gonna go in with that Cleona shade on top. I'm really liking this palette. I got such a deal on it, like, and I know some of you have correctly pointed out that I'm such a sucker for deals. I really am, but this one, like, I got for like $9, like Canadian, so that's like even less American. So it's a pretty good deal. Like, I know it's drugstore brand anyway, Milani, but like it's one of the more expensive drugstore brands. Like, I think it retails here, regular price would have been like around $27, so Canadian. So that's pretty much a really good deal in my opinion. All right, so I'm just gonna go in with this dark shade in the corners. But yeah, like I said, I didn't really want to talk too much about this whole coronavirus thing. I know everyone's talking about it. It's annoying. I get that it's totally annoying, but it's like there's nothing else going on. There's like not much else to really talk about, but I'll try to move on from that topic and just kind of talk about, you know, our lives otherwise. So like I said, we're in the process of trying to get pregnant, and it hasn't been super easy. I thought it would be easy. Like, I'm not, as far as I know, I don't have any fertility issues. I mean, my doctor I did have some health stuff a couple years ago that's ongoing that kind of, I'm not going to get really into specifics because, you know, nobody needs to know my, you know, whole entire health history, but essentially there were some things that my doctor discovered, I guess, that would suggest that I might have endometriosis. But for those of you that have endometriosis, I'm sure you are already aware that the only way to actually confirm or like fully diagnose endometriosis is with what they call a laparoscopy or something like that. I'm probably saying that wrong, but essentially it's like they take a camera and stick it down through like your belly button and look around in there to see if there is that basically what endometriosis is so when you are, before you get your period, right, your the lining of your uterus like grows, right? And then you get your period and it like sheds the lining or whatever. Like we all know how that works. But when you have endometriosis, essentially that lining, that like blood lining that you get, that you shed, starts to grow on other parts of your reproductive system. So like it could grow on your ovaries, or it can grow on like outside of your uterus and different areas of your body, right? So that's what endometriosis is. So basically the only way to know for sure if you have it is to get that camera put down your belly button, and then they look around for that growth or whatever. So I have not had that done, so there's no way to say for sure that I have it or don't have it. So but there was some reason to suspect that I might have it a couple of years ago, and it's something that's ongoing. So there is a chance that I have it. I elected to not have the camera thing to confirm, because even if I confirm that I did have it, there's not a whole lot that I can do about that. It's just something you kind of have to live with. And I basically made the decision under doctor's recommendations that unless I actually do experience difficulty getting pregnant, there's no need to really investigate it further at this point. Obviously, my doctor kind of said, you know, if we are struggling to get pregnant, like if it ends up taking more than like a year, then maybe that's something we should look into, and I should actually figure out what's going on. But for now, it's just kind of like a possibility, but not confirmed. So as far as I'm aware, I don't have any. I'm gonna say maybe I don't have that, or maybe I do, but nothing is diagnosed that would suggest that I should be having trouble getting pregnant. And same for my husband. As far as we know, there's nothing wrong with either of us in that regard. So that's why it's like, I don't know. It's frustrating that it didn't happen for us like immediately. I'm also just a really impatient person. I'm fully aware of that character trait that I possess. I am rather impatient once I decide. It's weird. I like take a really long time to make a decision on things, but once the decision has been made, I very much stick with my decisions, and I want to move forward on them. Like as soon as I make my mind up on something, it's like, all right, let's do this, like right now. And like I'm not patient about letting things like just slowly happen. I just like decide and want to make things happen now, and it's very like frustrating when that doesn't necessarily happen. And we haven't been like trying for a super long time or anything, but I'm under 30, so I kind of thought, you know, I'm young enough that this shouldn't take a long time for us, because like I'm young and I'm healthy and he's healthy, and it should just like, we should just try it and it should just happen. And I know, like, especially after being kind of taught all throughout school and stuff, like when I was younger, they always like use the scare tactic of like telling you that you could have sex like one time and it's over, like you're pregnant, your life is ruined, and like the whole thing, right? Like everyone knows how they kind of teach you that in school, and it makes sense why they teach kids that, because obviously they're trying to scare them into not making a bad decision when they can't handle it when they're young. But it almost like brainwashed me into thinking that's how easy it was going to be to get pregnant, and it's really not that easy. It's not like a one and done. It's been taking a lot more time and effort than I ever anticipated that it would, and I guess maybe my expectations were obviously not, you know, in sync with reality when it came to that. I really, despite knowing that I might have endometriosis, I still kind of in the back of my mind thought like, well, you know, whatever, like it'll be fine and it'll happen like immediately. We're just gonna try, and I've been trying to time this pregnancy so that it has the least impact on my business, which is pretty much seasonal. And that timing has kind of gone out the window because in order for that timing to like really be effective and not impact on my business as much, it would have had to have happened right away, and that didn't happen. So we'll see. But yeah, it's kind of really disheartening, and I really feel for people that actually have like legitimate fertility issues and spend months and months and months and years even like trying to get pregnant. I have only been doing this for a little while and it's already so depressing. It's really, I don't know, it's just very depressing. But so far, right now, I am in like peak anxiety for waiting for this month's answer of whether or not it was successful, because I am supposed to get my period tomorrow. So far it hasn't come, obviously, but it's not due to come until tomorrow, so guess tomorrow's gonna be the day. And given that I got the migraine that I always get before I get my period, I kind of figure like it's coming, like, you know, but I still have a glimmer of hope that maybe tomorrow will come and go and it won't come, and that would be amazing. But I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but it's, everybody says that, but it's freaking, when you're trying to get pregnant, it's freaking impossible to not get your hopes up. Like it's so hard not to. So, you know, that's hard. But okay, so I'm liking how this is turning out. It's hard because I'm doing it kind of, you know, half in the light, half in shadow. It's hard to tell on camera, but that's kind of the case. So it looks a little lopsided on my face, but when I'm looking directly into the light, like it looks pretty even. So I think I'm ready to add that top shade, which is just gonna go all over the lid. And I'm just gonna go, I'm so slow at drinking my coffee sometimes that it goes cold. So I'm gonna pause real quick, microwave my coffee, and then be back to continue. So give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. So time to add this Cliona shade. Now I find this shade applies best when, or it gives you the most impact when you apply it with your finger. And this is annoying to me. I don't know if I'm the only one out there, but I hate applying eyeshadow with my finger because my fingers are like big and I just feel like I can't get super precise, but at the same time, like the color payoff is so much better with a finger. So I would just like to make a plea for all you makeup innovators out there, like companies, brands. Can you invent something that applies product that looks as good as when you apply it with your finger, but have it not be a finger? Like, I don't know what would work best, like some kind of a sponge or a brush or something, because I'm tired of doing this whole finger thing, but at the same time, I always do it because it just looks so much better, but I wish there was a better way. But yeah, anyway. So as you can see, again, it looks so blue, but once it's on it, like it does look, I'm not gonna say it doesn't look blue when you put it on, but it does have a lot of that burgundy underneath. I don't know, I really like it. I don't know, maybe you guys aren't as much of a fan, but I just really love the way this shade goes on. There's a similar shade to this one in, if you guys have the Clover palette, the Too Faced Clover palette, there's a similar shade in there to this. It's the duochrome shade that's in there. You'll know it when you see it because it looks very similar to this. But this Cliona one blows that one out of the water. Like the formula is so much better with this Cliona one. I just like always reach for this one instead just because it performs so much better. Ooh, it looks so pretty. See, I just really like how this looks. But as you can see, as I'm applying it, like I'm wiping it onto my eye, and now you can see a little bit more of the brownish, pinkish, burgundy kind of shift. Now that I've wiped away a lot of the blue shimmer, like, I don't know, I guess that's the first layer that kind of wipes off your finger when you apply it. But I just like to put this all over the lid. I think it blends so nicely into those browny, burgundy kind of tones that I set down originally. And I think it goes so cute with like this kind of a color. I've already got like some powder on my shirt. It's lovely. Oh well. Not like I'm going anywhere today. freaking quarantined. Not really, but I just don't have anything going on. It sucks because I used to really like, I mean, it's good. It's good for my wallet because, again, because I used to really like going to the mall and checking out the deals at Marshall's and things like that, or at Winners, whatnot. And I have been avoiding doing that, obviously, to sort of cooperate with government restrictions on, you know, leaving your house. I mean, it's not like I'm not allowed to go to the mall. It's not like the mall's closed or anything. Like, it's still open, but better safe than sorry, I guess. So, okay. So that's kind of how that's looking. Gonna do the same on the other eye. See, I'm always I'm always torn between when I apply to my left eye if I should still use my right hand or if I should use my left hand because I'm not very good with I'm gonna try with the left hand. I'm just like, I'm not left-handed at all, and I'm not even close to being ambidextrous. So it's a little tough. Like, I'm getting a lot of fallout on that side mainly because I suck at using my left hand, but we're just gonna go with it. Yeah, I don't know why I love this shade so much. It's just like really, I fell in love with it like the first time I used it, and it's like one of my favorite go-to looks now, especially with like burgundy color clothes, and I do own a lot of burgundy color clothes. It's one of my favorite like colors to wear as clothing. You know how there's like only certain colors that kind of work on you? Like you probably, if you're anything like me, you kind of probably gravitate for the same kinds of colors when you go shopping, clothing shopping, I mean. At least I do. All right, so that's how that's looking. Yeah, I love that. So I do have, I don't know if you can see it, but I do have quite a bit of fallout on my face, and I'm a little worried about trying to get rid of it without smearing it across my whole face. So I'm going to try with this brush here to just dust it away, but we'll see. Actually, it's usually if you're pretty careful about doing this, if you're very light with you don't smush it into your face. If you just very lightly dust it away, it tends to be okay and not leave too much smudgy grossness on your cheeks. At least that's what I find. Oh, my skin. Oh yeah, I was gonna get back to why I feel like my skin is bad. Again, it's either because I could potentially maybe be pregnant, and apparently that can be a symptom for some people, is like acne, but also if I'm not, then I'm getting my period, and that also causes me to break out sometimes. So it's one of the two. Most likely just getting my period though. But yeah, do you guys comment below if you guys have the same kind of annoying cycle skin like with your cycle, because I definitely get that. All right, so I want to put a little bit of this, what was that? I want to put a little bit of this same color on the lower lash line, but that's going to be impossible to do with my finger, so I am going to use a brush for that. I'm just going to use this tiny little, almost like eyeliner brush. It's a little thicker than an eyeliner brush, but I'm going to just try and use the same shade and just do the lower lash line. Try and keep it as precise as possible, but oh, and I just stuck myself in the eye. That's okay. I just don't want this to smudge out and become like too smoky, but it can smudge out a little bit, but not too much would be what I'm going for. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I think that. What do you think? Yeah. Okay. I love how I like talk to you guys as if like I can get an immediate answer, like what do you think, like as if I'm gonna get a reply like as I'm doing this, but I can pretend. Okay, I'm lonely, self-quarantining. Okay, how's this? Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so like I know this video is gonna be really long, you guys. I'm not even gonna, usually I cut it off when it starts to get too long, but since I haven't done a video in a couple of days, might as well give you guys some more content, especially because, you're probably bored. You're probably like me, not able to go to work or don't have any work to go to at the moment and looking for stuff to watch on YouTube. And I just figure if you're bored at this point, you can click off, but I am going to just continue and finish the look. So I just have like eyeliner and mascara and stuff to finish up, but it's going to take me another 10-15 minutes. So this might end up being a longer video, but that's okay. I'm just going to go with it. All right, so, okay, I'm going to apply some eyeliner, and I think for this look, I'm going to use a Kohl eyeliner from Physicians Formula. This is an older one. I'm trying to kind of use it up because it is older, but I tried to go rebuy these because I really enjoy them and they work really well on the waterline, but I couldn't find them anymore. So I don't know if they've been repackaged or if Physicians Formula stopped making these. They're like the shimmer strips. So maybe they're just in a new package and they're not in these like triangular things anymore, but anyway, I digress. So these I like to use when I have more of like a smoky eye because you can't get a super precise line with them. But if you're going for like a thicker, more like smoked outline, they're like really good. And like I said, they're my favorite for the waterline. I find they last the longest in the waterline out of all my eyeliners. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to do this so that I can look in the mirror and sort of have it angled at the camera at the same time, but doing my best. But it also doesn't help that this is pretty worn down, so it's like not as pointed. When you first buy it, it comes more pointed, but that's the one downside I find to this product, is that the more you use it, the wider the tip gets, and then it's like really hard to do any sort of a thin line. So at this point, I just accept the fact that it's going to be a thicker line. Like I don't try and make it a thin line anymore when I use this. If I want a thin line, I just go with like a liquid. But I figured this look would be okay with a thicker line anyways. So that's kind of how that's looking. It's not the most defined, but that's okay. I think it'll look fine once I add the mascara. So let's do this on this side. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was going for. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit on the lower, like the waterline as well. See how pigmented that shows up on the waterline like immediately? Like I find a lot of other eyeliners, you have to go over them and over them and over them on the waterline before they like make any kind of impact. But this one kind of like right away shows up and it's very bold. And it stays for a very long time. Like this will stay in my waterline like pretty much like for hours. It doesn't fade away quickly, so that's kind of nice too. Ooh, it's a little too bold honestly, but too late. So that's what I'm going with. I have a lighter one, like this is the black, but it came with like a brown as well. I probably should have used the brown for the waterline. It would have been a little less intense, but oh well, we're committed now, so I'm just gonna grab my mascara and stuff and be right back. Okay, so for mascara, I'm just going to use my current go-to mascara, which is the CoverGirl Lash Blast. I use this one for the upper lash line, and then I use the, oh, I grabbed the wrong one. I use the Roller Lash, the Benefit Roller Lash for the bottom lashes lately. I had like a sample of it, and I've really been enjoying it because it's got a very small applicator, so it helps to get right in there with the lower lash line. So that's probably what I'll do again today. But I always start with the top lashes. I'm like running kind of low on mascara, but of course I don't want to go to stores right now, so I'll probably make an online order or something for some more mascara. I go through mascara so quick. Like, is it just me, or like, do you guys go through mascara like one a month? Like, I find myself going through one a month. Could be because I like really pack it on. Like, I never just do like that and then done. Like, I'm gonna be doing this for like a good 5 minutes because I like to really layer it on. I like a really bold lash. And some of you might be like, well, why not just use fake lashes? Yeah, I could do that, except I suck at doing that. Like, every time I glue on fake lashes, I find like I never get the placement right, or like they start to peel up like a couple hours later, and it's like I never see that happening with other like makeup people on YouTube and stuff. Like, I never see their lashes like flying off. So I must be doing something wrong. I don't know why. I've tried different kinds of glue. I've tried different kinds of lashes, and it seems to always happen. So the only time I really wear them is for like really special occasions like weddings, or pretty much just that. And I don't mean weddings like when I'm working. I mean like if I'm in a wedding, or even if I'm a guest at a wedding, sometimes I might put them on, but not just like working at a wedding. Forget that. All right. So this might be kind of boring for you guys. I'm going to pause, but I'm not going to end the video here. I'm just going to pause, do the mascara, and then come back again in a second. All right, guys, I'm back. Finished up my mascara. It's not looking perfect today. It's a little bit clumpy, but whatever. So the last thing I need to do to finish up this look is just a little bit of, I think I'm going to do a little bit of contouring, and then some blush, some highlighter, and a lip product. So I'm going to start with the contouring. Just going to do a little bit just along my cheekbones. I don't want to go too heavy on the contouring, but it's nice to do a little bit sometimes. Especially, like, I don't know, I feel like it goes with this look, with like the eye look, I don't know. Just do a little bit here. Sorry, I'm sniffling. It's every time I do my makeup, like not all my makeup, but just the mascara part, it makes my nose run. And it doesn't matter what mascara I'm using, so like I'm not like allergic to a certain mascara. Maybe I'm just allergic to mascara in general. I don't know, but that's always happened to me ever since I was like a teenager. Just every time I do mascara, my nose decides to become runny. It's the worst. But am I the only one who gets that, or is there anyone else out there? Anyway, I'm just putting a little bit of contouring on my 5 head. And cheekbones. I'm not going to do too much. Like, maybe I'll do a little on the sides of my nose, but I don't want to super contour my nose today. All right, next I'm going to do blush. Still working on this Tarte blush. I repressed it with, I mixed in like a peach eyeshadow that I just figured I would probably never use as an eyeshadow, and it worked as like kind of a blush color. So it looks full again, even though I had hit pan on it, but that's because I sort of made it into a Franken blush. But I still like it. I still think it works really well. Basically, didn't ruin it by mixing the eyeshadow in. In fact, I think I extended the life of my favorite blush. So sometimes Frankening stuff is totally worth it. But you are taking a risk sometimes that you might ruin something if you aren't careful with how much you mix in, and you know, could change the, like, you're obviously going to change the formula by doing that, but it seems to still work. I mean, I like more of a buildable formula when it comes to blush because I don't like going in too heavy right away. So I like that this one's like a little bit more on the subtle side unless I build it up. That's kind of what I like about it. All right. Perfect. Again, it might look a little uneven just because I've got a lot of light coming in from one side and not the other. So it might look like I have a lot more on the, you know, the shadowy side, but in person it's just the lighting. A little blush on my nose there too. Okay, and highlighter. I'm going to be using this Franken highlighter I made as well. It's just a nice kind of champagne-y color, subtle highlight. I don't like anything too blinding. I think it looks a little bit unnatural. That's just my personal preference. So I know some people like a really, really noticeable highlight, but I don't know. That's just not really my cup of tea. I like it to be noticeable a little bit, but just like really, really only at certain angles and only like subtle. I like to even blend it out into my cheeks a little bit so it's not just like a harsh line. Okay. Last little spot I like to put it is kind of in my sort of T-zone, I guess you could say, my nose, Cupid's bow, and sometimes a little on my chin. Perfect. And now for lip. I haven't even picked out a lip product yet, but based on this look, I think I'm gonna go nude with the lip because the eyes are quite bold. So I'm just gonna grab a quick the Birthday Suit Tarte lip paint. It's one of my favorite nudes because I like the formula of the lip paints and it's a nice nude color for my skin tone, I feel. Yeah, I think it goes quite well with the sort of transition shade that I've used on the eyes. All right, so now I know, again, the lighting is kind of blowing my face out, so you can't really see a lot of the blush and like contouring and stuff that I've done, just because the lighting's a little too intense, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I don't have professional lighting, but this is basically the finished look. My hair's still wet from my shower earlier, but let's let my hair down a little bit. Yeah, so this is the completed look. What do you guys think of this whole combination here? I'm going to do another video as soon as I get an opportunity today. I would like to pre-film a bunch since, again, I'm running kind of behind schedule with all my uploads, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this really long getting ready with me. Hopefully it made up for some of my, lack of content lately, and I'm going to do my best to get back on track with doing daily uploads for you guys. Struggling to think of things to talk about when life seems to be put on hold for pretty much anyone, like kind of puts my it kind of leaves you like as a creator like at a loss of what to talk about, but I'm gonna do my best. And I will see you guys in the next video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, bye guys.